Roar!
Ew. Luna Takes a Shower by LittleAngelStocking. Celestia, where's my bath? A frustrated Luna trotted into her sister's bedchambers. What? Celestia was standing in front of her desk, a quill levitating in front of her. Our bedchambers, Luna said. It doesn't have a bath. Celestia sighed and set the quill down, turning to her younger sister, whose mane still had yet to regain its magical, starry texture. Luna, when this castle was built, no pony knew about you. They're still in the process of building your room, are they not? They are, Luna said. Then they probably just haven't gotten around to finishing the bathroom yet. Here, you can use mine. Luna relaxed a bit, smiling. Thanks, sister. She followed Celestia into her personal bathroom and looked around. Luna gave it a good, long look. Celestia, you don't have a bath. Celestia stared for a second, then her eyes widened. Oh, I see now. She laughed. Lulu, this is a shower. She motioned towards the large glass panel hiding a part of the bathroom. Shower? Luna peeked in curiously, seeing the silver nozzle in the upper wall, and shelves built in to hold various shampoos and other soaps. It works the same as a bath, Celestia stated. Only instead of sitting in the water sort of, showers you. Oh, I see, Luna replied. So that is what they are currently building in mine. I may use yours? Of course, Celestia smiled. Tia, wait, how do I turn it on? The same way you turn a bath on. Just twist these levers here, see? Luna nodded and smiled at her sister. Celestia smiled back. Well, have fun. I have business to attend to. Luna nodded and watched her go, gently shutting the door behind her. The lunar alicorn turned towards the shower and eyed it for a long time. She used her magic to turn one of the levers, and jumped back when the water turned on, spraying the ground and disappearing down the drain. She slowly extended a hoof under the water and jumped back again. Hey! Too cold! Once again, using her magic, she turned the other lever, waited a bit, and once again put forth a hoof. Content with the temperature, she removed her crown, chest plate, and slippers. Then she stepped in. Bathing after 1,000 years is nice. She smiled to herself and lowered her head, spreading her wings and allowing the water to spray her back. It felt strange. She couldn't remember ever experiencing anything like this. Almost like a waterfall, except instead of one big spray of water, it was dozens of little ones. She waited for herself to get comfortable before she levitated over some of Celestia's shampoo and squirted it onto her mane, and thoroughly rubbed it on before putting her head back under the spray to be rinsed. She noticed the water heating up slowly and turned one of the dials just a bit, not even really sure what she was doing exactly. She instantly regretted it when the spray sped up, actually causing her to slide back a little, and then was bombarded with a spray of water hotter than the hottest fires in Tartarus. The alicorn squealed, trying to escape, and slipped, falling on her side. Ouch! A cursed shower! To the sun with you! She cursed and tried to get to her hooves, only to slide back as the hot water continued its relentless attack. Finally, using her unicorn magic, she moved the nozzle to point in a different direction, and it sprayed all over Celestia's bathroom. No! Luna cried, brought it back, and sputtered as it sprayed her face. She jerked away, finally managing to get back to her hoofs and pressed it against the nozzle. she cried again, pulling a hoof back, and the hose jerked again, spraying the bathroom. Luna jumped up and grabbed the nozzle in her teeth, and it broke off, and the bathroom was once again being sprayed. Not by little sprays of water, but by one big surge of steaming hot water. Luna cried out again, backing away. "We command you to stop!" But not even the royal Canterlot voice could stop the shower's attack. She jumped up again and grabbed the hose, yanking it down. The hose wiggled like a living worm. Luna bit down hard, hoping to stop the water. It slowed to a stop, and Luna held on hard. She could feel it filling up. She bit down harder, seeing the hose getting fatter out of the corner of her eye. It began to steam, but Luna held hard. A tiny hole opened in it, and a tiny spray of hot water spurted out. And then another, but Luna didn't give up. The entire hose, save for the side that held the nozzle, was bloated and steaming now. Another hole opened and sprayed Luna right in the eye. "Hey!" She dropped it, backing away. Nothing could have prepared her for the explosion that followed. The princess was pretty sure she was going to lose limbs as a fiery hot fury sprayed into the room with enough force to crack the glass of the window and break the mirror. Once she'd finally caught her breath, Luna stood up and tried desperately to turn the water off by turning the levers, only to have them break off. She stared for the longest time. "I can fix this! I can fix this!" she cried suddenly, pouncing in on the hose. By this point, the whole room was soaking wet, and water reached up to just below her knees. She twisted and turned, trying to subdue the water, and then found herself hopelessly tangled in the steaming hose. "Release me at once!" she cried in vain as she squirmed and wriggled, half underwater. The water had gone over her head now, and she used her wings to propel herself upwards, allowing a gasp of air before she sunk back under, trying to wriggle her way out of the constrictor-like grip. The water was now well above the sink, toilet and mirror, and halfway up the window. Luna was unable to untie herself and instead just continued to use her wings to propel herself up, gasped for air once again. Flapping her wings, she kept herself above the surface, but it was when the water reached the ceiling that the Luna Alicorn lowered her head and allowed herself to sink to the bottom. Celestia stepped into her room with a sigh. Nothing particularly interesting had happened today, and no friendship letters had been sent to her. She rather enjoyed reading them, but such things couldn't be rushed, she knew. She walked up to the bathroom door and knocked. "Luna, are you all right?" No reply. "Luna, sister?" No reply. She frowned. Had Luna slipped and knocked herself out? She knew it could happen, and considering Luna had never even heard of a shower. "I'm opening the door," she called, and enveloped the knob with her magic, backing away and pulled the door open. Boiling hot water exploded outwards, showering the princess and soaking her entire bedroom. Celestia could only stand there, shielding herself with a wing as the horrible, boiling wet onslaught continued, soaking her to the very bone. The water slowed down and stopped, soaking her bedroom, leaving the drenched Alicorn standing there, wings spread. The heavy water holding the pair of wings down to her hoofs, her eyes wide and twitching and mane hanging down. And sitting in the doorway, tangled up in the shower hose, was a soaking wet purple Alicorn. She smiled sheepishly up at her sister. "We are done showering, Tia." And once again, this is Comment Time with Visual Pony, and once again I will remind you that you can support us via the Patreon merch links and one-time donation links down in the description below. Every dollar helps, is needed, and very much appreciated. And now let's get into the meat of the story, because I don't think I can speak this fast for much longer. Okay. So, yeah, I like the story. Plain and simple. This is also one of those that I've had in my read later list for ages. And I mean literal ages. Let's see when it was actually written. 3rd of September 2012. Doesn't surprise me, really. And the author was last seen? Oof, okay, yeah, that author definitely has left the fandom because they were last seen in 2017. Also, recording the story was a little bit harder than I thought. Not because the story in itself is hard, but you might hear a few background noises right now that I'm not constantly stopping. Because as I was starting this, literally, my neighbor got a delivery and their dog freaked out. I'm like, okay, let's wait for the dog to settle down. Then kids started to play on the parking lot right in front of my house. And like, seriously, there's I don't have anything against kids. I love kids. But there's this little girl in this group of kids that constantly screams. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it went on for like 15 minutes straight. Okay? Like, literally, I had just recorded the beginning here, like, Luna takes a shower by LittleAngelStocking, and then this girl starts screaming. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And so, finally, they calm down outside, and I'm like, okay. And then as I get the first 2 paragraphs down, which is really not a lot, it's like the first, I think, 20 seconds or so into the story, they start playing soccer in the parking lot. Which is actually something that's not allowed there. There's like a huge sign saying playing ball is not allowed here because of all the cars. I'm usually not the one who would say something because I know, kids, let kids be kids and all that. But my car's parked there as well, so I was about to say something and then someone else beat me to it, went outside and was like, hey kids, there's a parking lot, go down to the schoolyard, play there. I'm like, finally. And then it was about in the middle of the story. Then this little girl returns. It's like, and it's not as if she has, like, as if she's hurt or anything, because I've checked this before. Like, I'm looking outside. Like, I have, like, a view screen in front of my window, like, so no one can look inside. And so I'm going to my kitchen because there's no drapes or anything on the kitchen window. So I look outside and I just see this kid just running in a circle with her arms in the air and screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You must imagine I've been recording this at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. So, what the fuck? As I said, I have got nothing against kids. I love kids. I want kids one day. But that was an ordeal. And sorry for this long rant here, but oh my god, I love the story. It's just super funny. And I love you all. And seriously, please, if you can, it would be very, very helpful if you considered supporting. Sincerely, Visual Pony, signing off.